Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Just a reminder that everyone please turn off or silence all cell phones and electronic devices. This is a hearing of the Committee of Adjustment for the City of Thorold for Thursday, May 16th, 2024. Everyone present will be given an opportunity to speak for or against the applications being heard. When given a chance to speak, you will only have 5 minutes, so please make sure to be as clear and consistent as possible. For your information, Committee of Adjustment is a public process. Personal information such as the applicant's name and property address, which is reported at a Committee of Adjustment meeting, is public information. Minutes of this Committee of Adjustment meeting will be received by Thorold City Council at a public council meeting and become part of the public record. Please address all your comments and questions through the chair. A copy of the decision will be sent to the applicant or agent and to any person who files a written request. Please write your name, address, and file you are heretofore in the Zoom text box or on the piece of paper located in the council chambers. Agencies commenting on applications may request that certain conditions be imposed. Voicing objections to these conditions will not adversely affect the committee's decision. The Committee of Adjustment is a quasi-judicial body operating under the Planning Act, the Municipal Act, and the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, as well as various provincial regulations. Sections 45 and 50 of the Planning Act outline the circumstances surrounding the approval of minor variances and controlling the conveyance of land in Ontario and the prevention of subdivision or land except with governmental approval. The applicant, the minister, or any specified person or public body who has an interest in the matter may, within 20 days of the making of the minor variance decision and 20 days from the date of the mailing of consent decision, appeal to the Ontario Land Tribunal. Please note, neighbors and other interested parties not defined by the Planning Act are no longer eligible to file appeals as per Bill 23, More Homes Built Faster Act 2022. I would ask the Deputy Clerk to read the land acknowledgement at this time, please.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Just put it up on the screen here. The City of Thorold is situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hadawandaronk, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nation, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The City of Thorold stands with all Indigenous people, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live.
Thank you. Can we get the screen working there, Nicholas? I'll just proceed. Does any member of this panel have a pecuniary interest in any of the applications to be considered at this hearing? Seeing none, nor do I. May I have a motion from the committee that the agenda be adopted as presented? Mr. Jackson, seconded. Mr. Pizzo, any additions? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. May I have a motion that the minutes of April 18th, 2024 be adopted as presented? Mr. DiPaolo, seconded. Mr. Ravenek, any additions, errors, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor? Thank you. Was notice given, Madam Secretary Treasurer?
Yes, sir, it was.
And are there any requests for withdrawal or adjournment?
There are no requests for withdrawal or adjournment. However, we did receive a request for deferral from the applicant of minor variance application D13-12-2024 for 73 Martin. He's requested it be deferred to a future Committee of Adjustment meeting.
Mr. McIsaac, is that a deferral request from the city or from the applicant?
Through you, Mr. Chair, it's from the applicant.
Okay. We'll deal with that as per the agenda. The first application, 40 River Street, D10-09-2024 and D13-11-2024. Mr. McIsaac, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. For those of you that don't know me online or in the chambers, my name is Connor McIsaac. I'm one of the planners with the City of Thorold. I'll give a brief overview of the applications at hand today, make your recommendations, and then be available for any questions. So our first application, it's a combined consent and minor variance application. I'll give an overview of the whole the whole application as a package, and then we'll have to have two separate recommendations, first for the consent and then secondly for the minor variance. So the first consent application is for D1009-2024, 40 River Street. It's located at the corner of River Street and Cross Street in Port Robinson East. And they're proposing to create one lot to construct a new single detached dwelling. And that'll be on part one of the drawing that's provided in the package. In order to facilitate that development as proposed, one variance from the provisions of the R2 zone under bylaw 2140-97 is requested. And that's to reduce the minimum front yard setback required from 7.5 meters to 5.6 meters. And that application is D13-11-2024. All the other requirements, except for the front yard setback of the R2 zoning, are being maintained for both the severed and the retained lot. The application was circulated to agencies and the public, and no objections were received from applicable agencies, and at this time, no public comments have been received. So we'll start with the consent. It's staff's recommendation that consent application D1009-2024 for the creation of one new lot be approved, subject to the conditions stated in the report.
Thank you, Mr. McIsaac. Does anyone speak for the applications on 40 River?
Chairman,
Mr. Pizzo.
the consents are pretty common, so I'd like to put it on the floor for the consent D1009-23 substitute finding.
Having done a site inspection and
I had
so,
a site inspection, just to get, sorry about that.
that's okay.
Sites visit and for the reasons stated in the planning report.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Pizzo.
sorry about that.
That's okay, you're fine. We have a seconder to that motion. Mr. Jackson. So it's on the floor. Any questions or comments from the committee? I'm assuming there is no one here to speak on behalf or speak on this application?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there is no one on Zoom to speak to this particular application.
Thank you. Further questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion? Thank you. Mr. McIsaac.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the second piece of this application is the minor variance.
Page,
It's the same report. So
I have the same report.
we're still on 40 River Street. They just had a combined consent and minor variance application, but we have to do them separate motions.
My question was, what page are you reading from?
I'm just providing a summary. If you want to see the minor variance, I guess the tests, then you can go to page 13 of the agenda package. Is where it begins.
Thank you, Mr. McIsaac. Go ahead.
So furthermore, to the consent application, it's the recommendation of planning staff that minor variance D13-11-2024 to reduce the minimum required front yard setback from 7.5 meters to 5.6 meters for the severed parcel be approved without conditions for the reasons described in the report.
Thank you, Mr. McIsaac. Questions or comments from the committee members? Mr. DiPaolo.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Connor, will the new dwelling be facing Cross Street or will it be facing River Street? Do you know?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. So it'll be on Cross Street. The retained dwelling is located on River Street, so that's why it's a 40 River address right now. Once the new lot is created, it'll have an address in fronting onto Cross Street.
Perfect, thank you.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none, looking for a motion. Mr. DiPaolo.
I make motion that the application which one is this one on here? What are we here?
13?
D13, 11-2024,
11?
40 River Street.
That's it.
Be approved based on the review of the pertinent information and comments presented at the hearing, also having conducted a site visit for the reasons stated in the planning report.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Mr. Jackson. Further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion? Thank you. As we all know, we have a deferral request from the applicant, D1312-2024. We have a motion for the deferral. Mr. Ravenek, seconded. Mr. Pizzo? No further discussion. All in favor? Thank you. Moving on to D13-2024, 2740 Merrittville Highway. Mr. McIsaac.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So our second and final application for today's Committee of Adjustment hearing is for 2740 Merrittville Highway, known as Amici's Banquet Hall and Conference Center. It's a minor variance application under Section 45.2 of the Planning Act, which is to expand the existing use there, which is a legal non-conforming use. The purpose of the expansion is a 64 square meter addition for a carport and a larger entrance to better facilitate the arrival of guests. As the committee knows, for a 45.2 application, it's not the same four tests that are applied for the regular minor variances. So, as you can see in the planning report, the two tests are whether the proposed expansion is appropriate and whether the expansion will result in undue adverse impacts on the surrounding neighborhood. Staff are satisfied that the proposed application meets the applicable tests for the Section 45.2. The reason that they need to come in for this is because the current zoning of specialty crop does not permit a banquet hall and conference center. However, as the banquet hall and conference center has been there prior to 2003, it's considered a legal non-conforming use. So for the reasons outlined in the report, it's staff's recommendation that application D13-2024 to permit the expansion of the legal non-conforming use at Amici's Banquet Hall and Conference Center is approved.
Thank you, Mr. McIsaac. Who speaks on behalf of this application, please? If you could identify yourself.
I'm just going to let the individual in through you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. DePono.
Hello?
We can hear you, sir.
Oh, great. Hi, my name is Paul Didavitas. I'm representing 1246322 Ontario Inc., operating as Amici's Banquet Center on
Thank-
Merrittville Highway.
Thank you, Mr. DeVice. Go ahead.
We're looking for the minor variance because of the addition of the carport, as explained by the city planner. This has been going back and forth, I guess, because of the change of usage to specialty agriculture or specialty crop. We've been in existence at Amici's since 1999, prior to any of the changes. So this minor variance seems simple in my eyes, but I guess I'm not on the committee.
Thank you. Committee members, questions, comments?
Mr. Chairman, I support.
Mr. Pizzo?
I support, I support, it's a well-known business. They're doing a lot of business in town, bringing a lot of taxes into town, and I support this. I would move a motion if they want. 1313, make a motion application D1313 be approved based on review of the pertinent information and comments presented at this meeting, having conducted a site visit and for the reasons the planning report. They do a nice job out there, and they bring in a lot of taxes, and if we can help somebody with their business, we should be helping them.
We have a seconder for the motion. Mr. DiPaolo? Questions or comments? Seeing none. All in favor of the motion? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. DeVice.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
You too.
Take care.
Do we have any other business, Madam Secretary, or Madam, or Mr. Secretary?
None that I'm aware of.
Thank you. Next meeting, what is the date of the next meeting? Third Thursday?
June 20th.
June 20th. We have Mr. Davidson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just more of a procedural thing than anything. I just wanted to introduce our summer student, Jennifer Stieg. She's with us from the University of Waterloo, so you'll be seeing her face in these meetings. So just wanted to give a very brief introduction and let her know that, or let you know that she would be here watching us.
Welcome. Welcome, Jenna. Mr. DiPaolo?
I don't know if this was, I just wanted to follow up on comments from last meeting, just the submission deadlines. I was just, through you, Mr. Chair, I was just wanted to know, I know staff was undertaking to report back to the committee with respecting some information on the submission deadlines established. Did we get that?
Mr. Davidson, Mr. McIsaac, one of you two? Or should I go
Yeah.
straight to Jenna?
Jenna? Yeah. Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't think we had a formal request for a report. We did look into what other municipalities in the area are doing and spoke with Nicholas, deputy clerk here. And basically, we're not able to limit when people want to submit comments. We are going to be including a clause, or I guess another sentence in our notices going forward, that if comments are to be included in the report, they'll need to be received a week in advance. However, we can't limit when people comment.
Mr. Pizzo?
You were supposed to look into this, weren't you? Last meeting, we said we were gonna see what the other,
I think you did.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, so we did look into it. There's a variety of different cutoff dates for municipalities. Some don't have any cutoff dates. Some request a week in advance. But speaking with our clerk's department, we wouldn't be permitted to limit or not accept written comments because it was past a certain date. People are free to comment up until 4:30 the day before, and they're also free to come in person. However, we are recommending that if people want their comments to be considered in the report, that they submit their comments a week in advance.
Mr. Pizzo?
there used to be a cutoff date, right, Angie? And if you wanted to come to the meeting and voice your opinion, they came to the meetings, right?
Through you, Mr. Chair, at one point in time, numerous years ago, there was the same deadline date for agencies and public. However, public spoke with former planning staff about not having enough time to prepare comments regarding applications. So the deadline for public comment submission was removed from our deadline schedule. And they, as Mr. McIsaac indicated, can provide written comment up until 4:30 the day prior to the Committee of Adjustment meeting, or they may attend the Committee of Adjustment meeting and voice their concerns and questions at that point in time.
Okay, then, Connor, you're gonna have a hard copy ready for us every meeting. I don't look at my iPad. I didn't even know it was
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, if the comments are received just before the meeting, the Secretary Treasurer will again print out a hard copy and place it on the desk as there was today.
Good. Thank you. Mr. DiPaolo?
I just want to be clear that our request for information was not a request to limit anybody's opportunity to speak to anything. It was just a request for information, just so we had an understanding of what it looked like. Let's be really clear, it wasn't designed to limit anybody. Encouraging people to get it in early gives us a chance to review things and be fully informed on the matter, and that was the only intention. So I just want to be clear that we had it's not designed to limit discussion, conversation, or opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Davidson?
I think that's a very good point. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Is from a staff perspective as well, it is beneficial for us to give the committee the information as well and give our professional opinion as to the concerns that are being raised. So we appreciate that we will have to create a deadline because we have to get the report done and finished, but we understand that the committee was not trying to limit that kind of input from members of the public.
Further questions or comments? Seeing none. Waiting for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn, Chair.
Thank you, Mr. DiPaolo. All in favor?